everyone, it's Roberta. I made a card yesterday using some of my old excess paint pages. This one was a full sheet from a composition book of layered paint, ink, stencils, stamps, different things. It probably took me about 6 months to fill up this particular composition book. But I love the colors on this paper, and so I made a different card, and last night I made another one. And I took the paper and I used the stencil to get the Harlequin. I used Velvet Crush. And then I also used my Stampin' Up! Paper edge puncher, and that got me all these little tiny dots. And I used some pink paper, this, and put it through. It's a strip of paper that I have left over from when I edged the other card that I made with this paper, the 3 Flowers Cam Snap card. So I just put this through here, and when you put it through in a certain way, if you can get it, you'll be able to punch out some little dots. Even though this paper is all in used up, you could still get stuff out of it. And so I took all the little dots and I put down some glue. This is the Aleene's Clear Tacky. And I just used a straight pin to get the glue and lay a little dollop of glue in the center of each of these little Harlequins. And then I picked up the pink little dot and laid it over on top of the glue and set it in. Once it was set, then I painted it with some of the hologram extreme glitter from Folk Art. This is one of my favorite glitters because it looks almost like an oval with all the different colors that it shines. And so each of those little dots has some glitter on it. This was originally one piece. I don't know if it was this side or this side. Nope. Here it is. It was originally this one piece. I cut it in half. And so last night I made this card using some of this just pattern paper. And then I put this paper on a piece of the Nina 65-pound paper so it would have some more durability. I used a black Sharpie. I cannot seem to find it's the here it is, the extra fine point Sharpie, and went around each of the little triangles to kind of highlight them. And then I had pre-printed a bunch of sentiments. I have a sentiment folder, all these pre-printed sentiments. Little baggies, little envelopes filled with them. So I found one that I like, which is the dark thank you with the black in the background. And I cut it out. And then I also coated that with the extreme glitter to make it pop. And before I adhered this piece down, I put some double stick tape from Simply Defined. It's Scrapbooking Made Simple. It's called Stacy tape. And I used some of the 1/8 inch, and put the tape around the edge of the paper and put down some of this really pretty lace. And then I put on some dimensional tape to give this some dimension and thickness, especially because of the lace on there. And so the tape is on the inside like this because this lace goes around inside. So the tape is not on the lace, it's on the inside. So it lays flat. Otherwise it would be more lumpy. And then after I put the lace on and the the dimensional tape, I laid this down. Then I put the sentiment on. I painted the sentiment, and then I also put, I don't know how well you can see, it doesn't glitter too much, it's just really faint, but I added some along the edge of this lace, the hologram glitter. And so this is one of the cards that I made last night, nothing on the inside yet. So today I want to finish off this one, and I really like how it looks against this purple. I did this one with the green, and I really liked the way the green made the yellows on this one pop. And I do have the pink, which is where the little dots came from, and that looks pretty too, but I really just like the way that the purples go together on this one. So I want to make another card using this one similar to this, but using the purple. And I think with this one I'm going to cut it, and then I'm going to paint the edges of it with the glitter on just the edges of the purple that'll be showing. So the first thing I need to do is to determine the size of the paper that I'm going to need. And when you add lace, you're going to have to add about 3/4 of an inch around the border so that it does still show the color, because I had the original one I did was really small and you really couldn't see it, and this way it makes it pop better. So about 3/4 of an inch all the way around. Looking for my pencil. Now this has a little bit of a mark here, so I'm just going to turn this over and do it on this side here. Actually, I can see it on that one too. So we'll go to here. So 3/4 of an inch roundabout. This has some paint on it, so it's not writing for me. There we go. That may actually be a bit much. My desk is fairly crowded today. So many projects started and items still on the desk. I don't know, I went all the way down. I shouldn't have. Only cut to the line. I'm not paying attention. I like to be very conservative in my cuts on the paper. I have quite a bit more on this one, I think, than I did on, actually it's about the same, just a little bit different. Yep. I need to cut it down this way a tad, because I do want some of that white showing. The white of the card. And I save all my little strips of paper, because I will make something with it. Yeah, that's much better. Okay, so the first thing I want to do now that I've got that ready is work on the tape and the ribbon, or the lace. I just bought this the other day at a thrift store, and there's not really much on the roll, so it was marked 25 and I got it for half of that, so well worth the price. I miss, in California there's a, I can't remember the name of the store, but there's a store in Long Beach that has rolls and rolls and rolls of ribbon on the original spool. So it's like, I don't know if it's hundreds of yards or whatnot. The spools are massive. And the whole store is just filled with ribbons and lace and fabrics. It's on Ximeno, Ximeno, something like that, in Long Beach. I used to go out there all the time and buy my laces and ribbons when I was making hair bows and other crafts. They don't have anything like that out here. Oh, it was called the Fabric Barn. The Fabric Barn, that was the name of it. One of my most favorite places to go shopping back then. I lived in California from 1987 until 2009. 2009 is when we sold what we could, packed up what we could. My daughter and her husband and the kids packed up what they could in their truck. I packed up what I could in my car, and we headed out to Ohio. And we lived in Monroe first, and then we moved to Middletown when we found us a house on 3 acres. It was a most wonderful experience. It was the first time being a homeowner and having all that land, and my daughter was talking about wanting chickens and then later goats, and at first I thought she was crazy. You know, having not grown up with that kind of a, wait for that plane. Having not grown up with that kind of lifestyle and thinking, it was foreign to me, and I thought it was just really strange to want to be raising chickens and goats. And I wasn't really for it at the beginning, but once we got them, I just fell in love with them, and we just had so much fun. I loved it. Chickens and goats, most awesome. Alright, so now I've got the tape on. Now it's time to add the lace. So I'm just going to take off one side of this at a time, and then put it on. starting in the middle. And actually I should be looking at the front so I can make sure I get all this part. I don't know what this stuff is called, but this is the stuff I want to get. Behind there as much as possible. And then coming around the corner, trying to undo another piece of tape. And kind of push it up in the corner so it has enough to do the curve or the turn. So we ended up losing our house and everything. It wasn't anything that was our fault. There were things that went on that shouldn't have happened by other people that just not going to talk about, but we did end up losing our house and our livestock and everything, which is, it's heartbreaking. People think of livestock just, you know, that people don't bond with them, but we did. We loved our goats and our chickens and the pigs, and you know, we had rabbits and everything else too. And we loved them. We went out there and cared for them. The goats would come sit in our lap and be loved on and love us back. They were just delightful critters. All of them, not just the goats. The goats were my favorite, but my hope is one day to be able to buy some land and start over, live off-grid. That is something I think about every day, and it would just make my heart so happy to be able to do that. Alright, so I need to add a little bit of glue here to capture this last bit of lace. And actually I can cut some of that off. There's a bit of an excess there. So now just to get this last bit caught down. And because there's a lot of holes in the lace, you have to lay down a sufficient amount for it to go through both and to the paper so it'll adhere better. And I'm just going to hold it down for a second. On this one, I want to paint the border with the glue, or the glitter. So right now I'm looking for a paintbrush that'll do that for me. When you do this, you have to use a paintbrush that's firm. You don't want to use one like this that's really kind of wispy, and definitely not one like this. I don't even know what this kind of a paintbrush, for me it's not useful. It's just the bristles are too soft for what I do. Okay. So I think I'm going to put it on this way, but I'm not sure. I'll determine that once I get the sentiment up. So I'm going to lay this off to the side for now. Move everything else out of my way that I don't want to get glitter on. This particular type of paint, this particular color, doesn't really require being shook up. I can open this and start painting with it right away, and I don't get that separation of the glitter and the paint and whatever it is, you know, that makes it adhere. I assume it has some type of a glue or something in it. But they all stay fairly well mixed in the bottle. And sometimes when you use glitter paint, the glitter will stay more in one area than another. And sometimes you'll have to paint a couple of layers to make sure you get a good dispersal of the glitter. I just love, this is my absolute favorite color of glitter. It's my favorite brand of the glitter. And I don't want it to stick on the paper, so I'm making sure to pick it up and move it. And I want to make sure I get all the glitter out of the paintbrush so it's not wasted. Alrighty. I think you can see how pretty that's going to be. I need to get a sentiment. I'm going to set this up so it can dry. I want one that's dark and bold like this. I don't think the white will pop as much. I think the black really makes it just pop out. These are scripture. They're called Word Fetty Black, the faith with the theme. But there's not, for something this small, I would have to put 3 or 4 of these to come up with a sentiment. And this is just too small to use this. And I don't feel like it's black enough. To me, it does not look as black as the black in this. This just is a darker. Printed from off my laser printer. I got a really nice HP laser printer at Walmart in Martinsville last year. I believe it was last year. It was marked down to $35. Excellent deal. It's a wonderful printer and scanner. I think I'll just stick with the thank you. I know I have other dark ones, but I can't see where they went to. I printed some of these, but I don't know that they're just not bold enough. These just look bolder to me. So I'm going to go ahead and stick with this thank you. And this is almost dry. And this I'm not going to pop up. This I'm just going onto the paper or on the card. And I always put a dollop of glue in the corner and kind of rub it out. And make sure my corners are down good. once I do that, then I try to lay down a real thin line that I rub in between. I don't want so much that it's going to come squeezing out, but I want enough that it's going to lay down, especially since I put some glitter on it. On the other card, I did not do it to the green, and I just squiggle the rest of this on, trying to make sure there's a little bit everywhere. It's got a little bit of glue on the inside, so I'll make sure that it's not going to get on anything. And once this is on, I'm going to make sure I rub every corner inside. And then really aggressively rub the middle, because I don't want the glue to warp the inside of the card, which sometimes glues can do if it has a big puddle. And no warpage. It's nice and smooth. Now for the center, we need to add some of the dimensional tape. And this is already going to be poofy on the outside, so I don't need to worry about putting tape in that area. And then I just need a strip going down in the center. Okay. So now, I don't remember if I wanted it this way, with the pink in the corner, but I think it was the green I wanted. Let me find my sentiment. Yeah, I think I'll do it that way. This part is always the challenge to get the release tape off. I'm not going to remove it from the center ones, just the fact that they are dimensional is sufficient. They don't need to be sticky. Okay. And now I want to make the edge of this one black. And at the same time, if there were any white spots that didn't print black, I could go ahead and correct it by dabbing the Sharpie over it. I need dimensional tape to put this one up. Okay, and so now all I want to do is add some more of the paint, the glitter paint. My little brush was not ready. Actually, I think I could just go ahead and use this one. Okay. And the only thing on this is I like to make sure that the letters are kind of cleared off of the glitter. It's okay if it piles up on the edges, but I like the letters to be somewhat cleared off. Actually, on this one, I think I want to do a little bit more, see what it looks like, if it looks like it's been glazed or whatever. I also want to make sure that any bubbles on there, that I try to get those popped. Try to make sure that it's level. Paintbrushes hold a lot, so I'll make sure I empty it out. On this one, I'm not going to add the glitter around. So this is the finished card. This is not yet dried, but you can see what the card looks like. And let me know what you think. You can give me a thumbs up. You can leave me a comment. You could subscribe and click on the bell. That way you'll get notified of any new videos that I put up. And you can also share. on your Facebook page. You guys have a lovely day. God bless you.